So I'm here with my dear friend Mike Starr, who is in from California, and you probably know him from movies and TVs because he has done like 250 movies and television shows, and I can go on and on about him. And
I'm actually tri-coastal, by the way.
yeah,
California, Chicago, and New York.
Yeah, and actually I've been with Mike in each one of those places.
That's right.
So, but we're not really going to talk about his career right now. We're going to talk about the Mets, because Mike is a huge Mets fan, and he came out time. And he's here working on, and I can say this now, the Blacklist. So you'll see him on the Blacklist in a couple of weeks. But and we tried to hook up for this Mets game. It didn't work out because our business is so crazy. But we're going to definitely go this summer because I got some great seats. So what I wanted to ask you was, all right, first of all, how long have you been a Mets fan?
Since 1962, the creation. My cousin was a Dodger fan. I was a Giant fan, old enough to say that. And we eventually, 1969 was convenient to finally completely commit. But as you know, the orange insignia is from the Giants. The blue on the hat is from the Dodgers, and pinstripes on the home uniform was from the Yankees, from what I understand. So we would go to the Polo Grounds. My oldest brother, John, gets out of the Marine Corps. He takes me, my brother Jimmy, my cousin Paulie, and we would go, and I saw the Giants, San Francisco Giants, Juan Marichal pitch, and I saw all three Alou brothers get up, and as my brother Jimmy reminded me, all in the same inning. And Casey Stengel was the manager, Choo-Choo Coleman was the catcher, all the classic ex-Dodgers and Giants were on the Mets. It was really tremendous. And I got to be friends with Moise Salou years later in Chicago, and I told him that. And I thought he'd be so impressed. I said, I saw your dad and your uncles get up in the same inning. And Moise, one of the classic characters, one of the great guys and great players, turned to me and goes, oh man, Mike, you old. You're old.
Now, just to show you what
was with the Mets, too.
Just to show you what a Mets fan he is, Mike lives in California, and he has all the Mets games on his
yes,
team. So
course,
anytime he's in California,
way.
he can watch the Mets, and he loves that. Where were you during the '86 World Series?
Actually, I was in the Bronx. My wife, when she got into med school, we moved to the Bronx in Pelham Bay. So I was outnumbered a bit with my friends there, and we were living there. And something fell apart. I know it was I didn't go, someone didn't call me, whatever, but I was at the 69 series. I was one of the knuckleheads who ran on the field. And I went with my cousin Paulie and my friend Gary Flip Barbagallo, and they gave me the single seat. We had 2 and 1, and they said, oh, Mike, we were way up in the upper deck, and they said, listen, Mike gets along with everybody, so we'll have him sit alone. And sure enough, I was running around with champagne, whatever, running down the field with the other maniacs, and I confess, I ripped up grass. I would never do that. Kids, don't try that at home, and stay in school. But we planted it in Pomeranic Projects. I took my grass and planted it right in the neighborhood there.
Now,
that's what became of it.
That game, that 5th game, there was only 5 games then, was in the daytime, which they would never do today because they would lose too much money. But who made the last out on the Orioles for the Mets to win it?
I got the answers on the test.
Go ahead.
Davey Johnson.
Davey Johnson, who was the manager of the '86 Mets.
Yes.
So, there's lots. So just describe, and we'll keep this brief. The first time you walked onto and saw the field, and you smelled the grass, and give us that feeling.
Polo Grounds is magical. So many people have that great story. And again, when we didn't have the Dodgers, my brothers or someone would take us. Can't tell people that when you're 10, 11 years old, we all rode on the subway together, but. Even going to Yankee Stadium was so special. When you went to Yankee Stadium, of course, the history. But the first time in the Polo Grounds, when you looked at it, and they had that short window, the big signs on it, and eventually I got to be in the natural and tell people these stories. You didn't see me playing, no. I was a designated ad-libber and loudmouth.
Well, what was your part in the natural? What did you play?
I played a guy. I think who was eating his way out of the league. I was on the bench ad-libbing every now and then. And I helped sing the national anthem,
you did another. Weren't you in a series that was about baseball?
Hardball, yeah, that was a great show. Just the timing. Joe Rogan was in it, Dan Florek, and
right. And Uncle Sal, our friend Uncle Sal was
Uncle Sal. Sal was our stage manager, AD. We're still tight.
Yep.
And,
that's
Osfio's Bruce Greenwood was in it. I mean, and Alexander Wentworth, you know Schmoopy from Seinfeld, and
Right.
we had a tremendous show. It's just different timing, different things happen, whatever at the time, whatever, and it was really very interesting and unique.
Let me ask you a question
writers.
I
didn't play too much in that. I was the catch, but
now you've done 230 either movies or TV shows.
yeah,
but,
walking in
but
the door, getting shot, or saying "ow" and
falling out of a garbage truck or whatever. But let me ask you this:
classic.
when you are in a baseball movie or a baseball, is it a little special or is it just the same as acting?
No, it was magical.
Yeah,
magical. There's nothing like it. For me, it was baseball. Not that I was much of a baseball player, but just the friends I made on that, some with us, some not done, and the people that you dealt with, and seeing, there's Robert Redford, everything was just, here we are every day, you just had to put on this uniform, and every now and then the great Barry Levinson would say, Mike, would you insult Bob here or something like that? Well, great. I even snuck my son's middle name in, and Robert Redford, what's your name in this? I said, well, it's Boom Boomski. He made sure he did that. Wilford Brimley, God rest his soul, and Richard Farnsworth, they would all sneak it in, and Danny Aiello, the third, Danny Jr., he would throw my name in, and Kenny Grisano, my friend who was pitching at the end, people who aren't with us anymore, just, it was magical getting up every day, and all the great people are on. Robert Duvall, I mean, it's just nonstop.
right. I forgot Robert Duvall.
And it's funny, when we did the final, the winning home run, we had these great Knights jackets, and that, I know they've been duplicated, this, that, but it got to the point, I'm no big serious method actor, but you started cheering. There's a foul ball, and you get up, you go, oh, it was actually August in Buffalo where we did that scene. It was getting cool, but you get up and you got so into it, and then we hit the home run, you're cheering, you're in a movie. But he was the coolest, Robert Redford, and just so great. And
That's
God, it was just, I got to play, they started teaching me how to play baseball, some of the guys, and great stories. There was Tony from the batting practice from the Yankees helped us as a technical advisor, and there was a great man, Gene Kirby, who was, I believe, Don Zimmer's best friend. Oh, the stories he told us. He would institute things like throwing the glove on the field. He knew the history. He told me that he did everything in baseball but play. There used to be the game of the week in the early 50s. He was the first producer of it. A fascinating, quiet, really cool guy. Not like me. Blah, 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 blah. So,
what's your favorite Mets memory?
it's hard to top 69.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question.
Well, that
Well, that final-
86 game.
Oh, my
was
God.
that had me be.
Seeing Keith Hernandez on Seinfeld, and I got to meet him in an interview. The first thing I said to him, I didn't want to be like the real fan, so I just went, loved your work on Seinfeld,
Yeah.
And I just go out of my way just to hear them announce, Keith and Ron Darling and Gary, just hear them, just their stories and their insights. There's no one better, and I got to meet Ralph Kine. I was doing a film, there was not a spin-off of Goodfellas, it was a different one on USA Cable, about the Lufthansa heist, and I remember getting to meet Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner. So classy, and that was pretty amazing.
Ralph
That's
had
memory. 86. I can't watch the replay of 86 without being nervous.
Yeah, me too.
I saw what I was.
Ralph Kiner had the best. He was announcing, and he was at the towards the end of his announcing days, and he said, "So it's Father's Day, so we want to wish all the fathers a very happy birthday." And then Tim goes, "Well, if it's their birthday."
I got to go to a game. Eddie Seipat, who's now a Catholic priest,
Yeah.
was a AAA Met, that close to making. He was great. There was a picture of him in the program Stars of the Future. We'd imitate him. All we did was laugh. Kenny Grisano and Danny, just great times. And
Well,
Eddie Seipat was on that, and he taught me a lot and told me a lot of great stories. And he took me. His friend Keith Bodie was the technical advisor. Not Michael Keaton. Did a thing Slugger, and Keith turned out to be the manager of a single A rookie Houston team, and we were at Shea Stadium, and I wore an orange shirt, and some of the players posed with me. I was giving them lessons. I got to find those in front of the board in Shea Stadium, like giving them tips, and they're laughing. And we were on the other side. The Mets A team played. It was Wally Backman was playing there, but not playing. You'd see the big guys coming down. All of a sudden, Yogi Berra comes down, and I had done commercials with him, but I just watched him, and he, people when they'd interview, no, you knew the guy was there. You knew the king, the duke, whatever you want to call him. It was like, wow.
most
Yogi
World
Berra,
Series
not a
rings,
showbiz, yeah.
10 World Series.
And he hit more clutch home runs and hits in the series and everything, right? Amazing. So he came down, And then Gene Tennis was there, and a good friend of mine, John Dunn, who had been with him in Oakland, who big Broadway tickets guy and legend in Central Park. He knew him, and he told me stories about John his back and when they were at Oakland. And I was so happy, but we didn't get to stay for the game. I walked by like Gary Carter in the tunnel and all this people. I'm like, so I'm standing there, and a play happens, and it goes against the Mets, a pickoff at first, and just by reaction in uniforms, like Seinfeld says, laundry, I jump up and say, "What?" I start arguing, yelling. And Eddie turns to me and goes, "Mike, check your uni out. Check your uniform. You're rooting for the wrong team." I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry." We got to meet that relief pitcher.
So real quick, wrap it up. It's favorite Met. Do we have a favorite Met? You could name me the top three Mets that you love.
Oh my God.
I just want you to know that Jerry has a big suite, like where my seats are, and we're going to go. We're going to the game next time he's in town, June, I think. We're going to go to the game.
I got to meet Omar Minaya, but Jerry, but I should tell you. I got the first film I got on was Bushido Blade with great Japanese stars and Richard Boone and Frank Converse. Interesting thing, they tried to find me. You know who was one of my first commercial agent, but also tracked me down. I wasn't with him anymore. Cynthia Raglan was his, God rest soul, was his partner. Art Shamsky is one of the major reasons why I got in my first film. He tracked me, gave people all information how to find me. Art
Shamsky did?
One of the coolest guys ever, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's telling me great stories.
So the top three favorite Mets.
Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's hard.
You know who I like? We used to go to the Polo Grounds early, and we'd yell out from the field. We'd go to batting practice and catch. It was just a different world then. And even at Yankee Stadium, the wall was so low. My brothers would take me up, but you go, and I remember yelling out to Hot Rod Keneal. And he nodded and answered at me. I said, "Hey, aren't you from Missouri?" Something. Yeah. Because he nodded, I became a Rod Keneal fanatic. He had a special bat with looked like a cotton swab. He came up with. So he was one of my original favorites. We laugh now. I reunite with my friends that we went to those games. I went to when we lived in Chicago. It's not a great moment to talk about '69, but we like to think we were at the Black Cat game. And when I think Montreal came in, but the Cubs, when they were going on that skid and Leo DeRocha disappeared, whatever happened, I was at the games that the Mets. And my favorite player that year, along with Swoboda, was Don Clendenin. I mean, we all idolize Seaver, so there's nothing. That's a different world, It's like talking about Joe Namath, And so many players. And I admired Jerry Grody. I wish I could play like him,
Funny.
Roy?
So we're going to end it now because we talked about the
No. This is an effective video.
Matthew Broderick would bring me out when I was doing the Broadway show in
Really?
Nathan Lane. Matthew Broderick would take me out to games. Yeah.
Would he?
Opening day. Yeah.
Well, now Roy McDonald is going to take that.
Mr. Rock and Roll himself, the King, the Duke.
Do I have better seats than Matthew Broderick?
I'll tell you, no one had better
Probably.
seats than you. You had better seats than Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, my brother. It's great to see you. Give me a hug.
Okay.
A COVID hug. There you go.
All right.
Mike Starr from Flushing, Queens.